Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? This is your boy, Jaeger, and today we're on some monkey business. You already know. Working on the Grom today. Working on the monkey today. I'm still getting used to saying that. I've always wanted a monkey, never really had one. First one, so. And then I've had like 30 Groms. But anyway, working on the monkey today. We're doing something that's huge, very important, probably the weakest link I would say on any monkey and any Grom, and this process works on both. And also the parts used to do this is for both bikes because they have the same front suspension, and that's what we're working on today. All right, guys, so this is what we got today. We got the RacingBros 6.5 front fork kit. So this is an upgraded fork cartridge for the front forks. This is going to be a few things that you're going to need to do that. The fork kit, of course, the spring kit for it. RacingBros makes this tool, which is going to be necessary to do the swap of the springs. You don't necessarily need that, but it definitely helps a lot. You're going to need a 36 millimeter socket, which is a pretty big size. Got this at O'Reilly's for about $10, right? Ooh, shoot. You're going to need red Loctite, fork oil. I went with the 20-pound weight, so it's super stiff because that's how I like my suspension. I like it, well, I was going to say I like it hard, but it's kind of weird. But yes, it's going to be stiffer in the front because the front suspension is super, super soggy. So we'll do a comparison of that too. Red Loctite, that you're going to need a few hex keys and stuff like that. And also, while I'm doing this process, I'm going to be slapping on the SS Moto billet bar risers. One, they're beautiful. Two, they work very well. The bars sit a little bit higher, and you won't have to deal with any issues of them loosening up and the bars moving and stuff like that. And that's just the hardware kit for that as well. You're going to need a vise. So I just bought one of these vice grips. It's going to help hold the forks with the RacingBros toolkit, right? So the process and how this is going to go down, I'm going to break it down pretty easily for you. First, I'm going to have to remove the Pro Taper bar just out of the way, get it out of the way so you can get to these bolts right here. This is going to be mainly for the bar risers, so you're gonna have to remove these four, move the bars out the way, get the bottom attachment off, and then just reverse process to install the new ones. But as you move these out of the way, you're gonna need out of the way so you can put the socket. This is where the 36 millimeter socket is gonna go. So loosen this before you pull the forks out because later it's gonna be a pain in the butt to loosen it. But yeah, loosen those both sides, and then you're gonna come around here. You're going to loosen this bad boy. You're going to loosen these two. And also, you're going to have to lift the bike up. You're going to have to remove the front wheel because when you remove the forks, you're basically going to be removing everything all the way down to here. So that's what we're going to be doing first, removing these forks. I'm going to show you a few tricks to lift the bike up and do all that stuff so you can remove the forks pretty easily. But pretty straightforward. Never done this before, too. So it's going to be a learning process. We're going to go nice and slow, as slow as fast. So let's get that bad boy going and remove these forks. All right, now the bike's up. Remove these two. They're not a 14, they should be a 12. Remove the brakes. Now you should be ready to remove the forks. So grab this bad boy. And with these, loosen them with a ratchet first before you put an impact on it, just because you don't want to strip these bolts or else you're going to be at a standstill until you get new hardware. So, and I believe these have never been removed, so they probably have red Loctite on them. So that's why I don't recommend Yeah, there we go. I don't recommend just going with an impact on them because you don't want to strip them, especially with the red Loctite. Make sure you have a hand on your fork when you're doing this too, just because you do not want the fork just to fall off like that. That would be bad news. So, boom, one fork is off. All right, guys, now that you got one fork out, what you have to do, you're gonna completely remove the top, that 36 mil. After you remove that, you're gonna have to pump out all the current fluid that's inside of the fork right now. So, get that top portion out. Boom. Come right out. So boom, get this top portion out, it's loose. Now what you want to do is get rid of all the fluid. I got a oil pan right here, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna turn it in there. And then also as I'm doing that, make sure you pump to get all the fluid out. All right, guys, after you dumped out most of the fluid, pumped some of it out, what you want to do is get a 17 millimeter wrench. There's going to be a bolt right here. Let me show that to you. That bolt right there. And the top one, you want to loosen it. That's basically a lock for this top bolt. So hold that one in place. Might be a little tougher than I thought, but I'll try laying it on its side. Oof. That was sketchy, but I think that worked. All right, so after you loosen this bad boy, right, you should be able to just get the top off. That. Boom. And there's also a little washer over there too. You could leave this hardware in there. It's not that big of a deal. I got it tight, but that'll do. Now you just finish pumping out all that gross old fluid that's in there. Should be a lot easier now because you get full movement of the forks. But yeah, I got just about everything out. What you don't want to do is pull the fork completely off. Don't pull the whole, like this whole part all the way out. Just keep it going. Yeah, see, there's still more in there. You're gonna pull the forks till you see the holes in them. There should be 4 holes on all the way around it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so about quarter way away there should be one of these holes. And this is where the toolkit comes in handy, right? So I'm just gonna set this down for now like this. This is where the vise comes in too. So let me just show you guys how it works. One half, and then the other half. You're not gonna need this other piece right here right now, but what you're gonna do is basically use this tool and have little notches in them right there, and they're gonna go into the circle, right? And pull the fork up just enough to where you can get to it, like that. And like that. Basically hold it in place like this. All right, don't mind my washing machine in the back, but it's the only place I got to put this bad boy on right now. So this is where the vise comes into play. Where the block tool is here, you're gonna basically set it on the vise like that. So probably gotta loosen it some. Right. About perfect right there. Now we're gonna tighten it. Goal for this is just so it doesn't move, right? You got it in place, everything looks good. Let me get you a better angle here, right? So, yeah, this is the end of the fork now. The top end where the wheel goes through and all this stuff. So the next step, which you're gonna have to do, you're gonna have to heat this part up. You're gonna have to spin it out because you're gonna have to remove this whole part right here. So, for us to do that, get a heat gun. Some people use heat guns, some people use torches. But before that, I'm also gonna get the tool that I'm gonna use to go through that. So what I'm using is gonna be an extension. The reason I'm using this is because I don't wanna use my axle, and let's say I'm putting too much force, I bend my axle and then I'm stuck. But this fits in there perfectly snug. You won't really damage it. So now the process is to heat this bad boy up. And make sure you heat it without the tool inside, because then the tool's gonna get hot and then it's gonna suck. So yeah, just make sure you're heating this part up. Might take a minute. I believe should be around 500 Fahrenheit, give or take. And the reason we're doing this is so it breaks the Loctite that's in this part of the wheel, so we can loosen it out. So that's done. Just go around heating it up in a circular motion so you get all the sides. All right, boys, after about what felt like 7 years of rotating this motherfucker, she's out. Thank God. Whew, let me tell you, it's an old bike, all the Loctite's there. Makes it very difficult to get this bad boy out. But it's out, thank God. It took forever. Get a rag, clean this bad boy out, get all the old Loctite. You can still see it in there. Get all that bad boy out. Make it look nice. So when you thread it back on, it goes on easy. All right. All right, this is when you use your hex key to take this off. Just remember, your spring is in here, so it's gonna be pressurized. So don't just take it off. Remember, you don't want to fucking take your own head off. So, ideally, it shouldn't be that bad to take off. But like I said, you never know how much pressure is in here. Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah, after you break it, slowly take it off. Because, like I said, there's going to be pressure in there. So, there it is. Thought it was a lot worse. Not that bad. But now you got that cap off, right? Pressure's out already. There is a washer. Don't forget the washer. That's very important. And now you take that old boy out. You're gonna put the new one in. All right, guys. You get the old spring off. You get the new spring. The preload. Just gonna slide that bad boy all the way in there. Boom. Preload goes in. Like so. And you want to reuse your washer. So just put the washer over it. I'm gonna put some pressure down. And boom. Slap that bad boy back on there. There it's on there. Snug it up. Torque it to 30 Newton meters. So I'm gonna get the torque wrench and torque that bad boy back on there. Boom, 30 Newton meters. Slap it back in there. Come on. Give it a little ugga-dugga till you hear the crack. Boom. You're good to go. At least with that part, right? So now, I'm gonna get the axle thing, whatever that crap is called, I forgot the name of it. Make sure I clean it nice in there. You wanna get some, I'm doing red Loctite because I don't plan on taking this off ever again. If I do, then it's gonna need a lot of heat and a lot of patience to put it back on. So, yeah. It's off. Get my red Loctite. Do a nice bead over it, right? Oh, whoa, shit, too much. Way too much. That was not supposed to happen. Well, at least I know this thing's never, and I mean never, ever, ever coming off. Get that bad boy, put it back on there, slide it in. And then just rotate it back in there. All right, boys, tighten the bottom, you're good to go. Know what you want to do? Rotate the fork. You want to tighten the top back on there, right? Boom, slap this all the way down. Get the tool you had. Make sure it's tight on there. Boom, got that part on there. Now, I got my 20 pound pound oil or fluid, whatever you call it. And each fork is gonna get about 220 milligrams. So I kind of cheaped out, right? And I didn't buy the little measuring cup. So I stole my wife's cooking one. And if I end up dying, just because I use this one. So that one marks up 200. And then I stole one of my daughter's old bottles so I can measure up to 20. So fill that bad boy up. And that's perfect. So what you're gonna do now, you're gonna pour the fluid into the fork as you're stroking it, as you're pumping it. So, cool. So I'm gonna start off with the little 20. Boom, 20 right there. Stroke that thing, cuzzo. Boom. Sweet. Then use this and continue that process until it's all the way in there. Alright, so you're done pumping that bad boy back in there, putting all the fluid in, pump it a few more times, and the top's ready to go back on there. So now you just do the reverse process, tighten the top back on. You can hand tighten it for most of the fork. I mean most of that big bolt that goes up top. Then just grab your tool and finish the process. Boom. And now you're done. Fork's on there. It's money. Now you do the reverse process and slap it back on the bike. When you put it back on the bike and clamp it, just make sure you tighten this bolt. When the triple tree is actually tight on here, you'll be able to tighten it a little bit more, and your money. And that's basically the whole process of doing your forks. It can be a little bit time consuming. This was my first time doing it. I guarantee when I do the second one now, it's gonna be money. But yeah, and just like that, you could make probably the best bang for your buck modification to the Grom. Suspension on Groms and Monkeys suck. They're really bad, really soft. And when you upgrade this, like, it's a night and day difference. The bike rides so much better. If you're riding dirt, doing jumps, doing wheelies, this is gonna make a night and day difference. All right, boys. Everything back on there. Installed the bar mounts. There's a hex that goes down here, and you put, I believe, a size 17 under, and you just tighten that up, and then you slap it back on there. I also moved the Pro Taper bar foam thing that goes over here, because I got a bar bag that I'm gonna put over. But yeah, that sits so much higher. And bro, like, with 20 weight fork fluid and the new suspension, like, I don't think you can even see it. Let me set this up just to show you how stiff the front is, bro. Watch this. And I'm gonna do a comparison to a stock Grom that's over there. Look at this. That's like full body force. Everything. Nuts. And then you go over here to a stocky, right? This is a stock front suspension Grom right here. And then you look at this. I'm gonna put the same force I put on my bike. Look at this. I could literally hop it. From that to this. Just to show y'all one more time. trying to stand on me. That's the most it's going. So, honestly, super hype with the install. It is a lot of work, but it's worth it. Best bang for the buck. And boys, after that long install, it took me a few hours. First time doing forks. But I'm proud of myself because that was probably the hardest install I've done on a Mini ever. It's not even hard, it's just time consuming and I didn't know and I had to figure things out. But so happy with it. Front suspension is fire. The bar mounts are great. Yeah, dude, freaking awesome. I hope this video helps you guys do the install. It is time consuming, but it's worth it. So hopefully my video helps. It's educational, entertaining, and I'll see you boys soon on the next video when we're doing more monkey parts on that monkey business. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.